Okay, so we're going to kind of walk away from polynomials a little bit and come back and talk about rational functions again, or rational equations in this case. And so we're going to remember how to solve them, and then we're going to do something that you may not have seen before, which is called decomposing fractions. So instead of combining them together, we're trying to split them apart. All right, so again, the word rational has the term ratio in it, which means that it would be a fraction. In this case, it would be a fraction where there's a rational expression on the top or the bottom. Okay, or sorry, it's an equation that has one or more rational expressions. So that means you're going to see a variable in the denominator somewhere in the equation. My apologies. So if we take a look at part A of example 1, this is a rational equation because I have this m in the denominator. And if you're not a big fan of m, you can use x, whatever you want to use. Okay? So what we want to do, and because we have an equal sign, we can do it, is I want to be able to get rid of the m. So if I multiply everything through by m, so multiply by m here, and by m here, by m here, and by m here, and I can do that because I'm multiplying by m on both sides. Then here the m's cancel, leaving me with negative 15. And here I get negative m squared. And here I get positive 8m, and that's equal to 0. Okay? So when I put this in the right order, I'm going to get negative m squared, I'm going to get positive 8m, and I'm going to get negative 15. So this should just be minus 15 is equal to 0. Sorry about that. Now, I'm not a big fan of having that negative in the front, so I'm going to go ahead and either multiply or divide through by negative 1 as well. And so when we're done, we have m squared minus 8m plus 15 is equal to 0. So now it's just a quadratic equation. We've worked on those. So we're saying what multiplies to give me 15 that adds to give me negative 8. So hopefully you're thinking negative 5 and negative 3, that their product is positive 15 and their sum is negative 8. So we get m, and then we get minus 5 and m minus 3, and their product is equal to 0. So the zero product rule says that either the first term is equal to 0 or the second term is equal to 0. So that means I could have m equal to 5 or I could have m is equal to 3. And then you want to come up here and make sure that that's not one of your what's called excluded values. So do you see up here my denominator was m? So what that means is m cannot be equal to 0 because that would give me a denominator of 0. So since neither one of these are m is equal to 0, then I can say that both of these are the solution to the equation. So take a moment to pause your video and go ahead and try B. Okay, so I paused it too because my custodian came in and he's such a sweetheart. So anyways, so we're getting on to the next one. Hopefully you paused it and you gave it a try. And so you can see that we have t in the denominator. So we can make a little note even right here just to make sure we remember that t cannot be equal to 0. That is called an excluded value, okay? So I'm going to multiply everything through by t. And so for the first one, we get t squared. And for the second one, the t's cancel and we get minus 4, and then that's equal to 3 times t. So I want to get everything on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 3t from both sides, and I get t squared. Oops, that's not t squared. T squared minus 3t minus 4 equal to 0. And so again, this is just a quadratic. See if we can factor. So I've got my negative 4 and I've got my negative 3. So what multiplies to give me negative 4? That adds to give me negative 3, and that's going to be negative 4 and positive 1. So we get t minus 4 times t plus 1 is equal to 0, which means my possibilities are t equal to 4 and t equal to negative 1, because if I set those equal to 0, I would subtract them from both sides. So coming up here, just double checking, I don't have one of my excluded values, so these would be the two possible solutions. And you could actually plug them in. So for example, if I plug in t equal to 4, I get 4 minus 4 over 4 equal to 3, and that's the question, right? So 4 over 4 is 1, and 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. And so you can take each one of these and plug it into their original equation, and you should get an equal sign when you're done. Okay, so taking a look at this one's a little bit different because I have two different denominators. And so what that means is before I can start multiplying, I have to figure out what would my least common denominator be, okay? So remember, when we think about these, we have to think about these as entire denominators, not as two separate pieces, right? So the first one needs a denominator with a factor of b minus 3, and the second one needs a denominator with a factor of b. So the third one needs a b minus 3, but I already have one. So if I use b times b minus 3, then I can guarantee that I'm going to cancel when I multiply across. So what that means is b minus 3 times b cannot be equal to 0. So that means b cannot be equal to 3 and b cannot be equal to 0. Those are called excluded values, okay? Because those would be values that if I plugged it back in, my original fraction would be undefined. All right, so then coming over here, let me see if I can get this straight. So I'm going to have b times b minus 3 times my first fraction, which is 4 over b minus 3. And then I've got plus, and then I'm going to do b times b minus 3 times my second fraction, which is 3 over b, is equal to, and then I'm going to do b times b minus 3 times my last fraction, which is negative 2b over b minus 3. Okay, so all I did was multiply everything through by that LCD, and I can do that because I have an equal sign. Okay, so in this first one, the b minus 3's cancel, and that leaves me with b times 4. And then over here, the b's cancel, and that leaves me with 3 times b minus 3. And then on this side, the b minus 3's cancel, and that leaves me with b times negative 2b. So that's going to be negative 2b squared. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple things at the same time. One thing I'm going to do is add the 2b squared to both sides. And then the second thing I'm going to do is distribute the 3 to the parentheses. So let's see what we end up with. So here this cancels, and I've got 2b squared. I've got plus 4b. I have plus 3b, and then I have minus 9 is equal to 0. And so then if I combine my like terms, I have 2b squared plus 7b minus 9 is equal to 0. So now we need to try to factor this, and let's see what happens. So when I have that 2 in the front, I've got to do the hop, skip, and a jump. Okay, so 2 times negative 9 is going to be negative 18. And I want to see what multiplies to give me negative 18 that adds to give me positive 7. So hopefully you're screaming at the computer that it is 9 and negative 2, that their product is negative 18 and their sum is 7. So like I showed you in the previous video, we're going to split this 7b up into a 9b and a negative 2b. Okay, so then we're going to group the first two together and group the second two together and factor out whatever it is they have in common. So the first one has a b in common, and we're left with b times what gives me 2b squared, and that would be 2b, and b times what gives me 9b, and that would be positive 9. And then over here, all I can factor out is a negative 1, because there is no common factor between 2 and 9 except for 1, or 2b and 9 except for negative 1. So all that does is changes everybody's sign. So we end up with 2b plus 9 equal to 0. And I know I did it right because my parentheses are the same. So now that I have common factors with those parentheses, I'm going to factor out that common factor. And when I do, I am left with b minus 1. Okay. So what that means is either 2b plus 9 is equal to 0 or b minus 1 is equal to 0. So over here we get 2b is equal to negative 9, or b is equal to negative 9 halves, or you could have called that negative 4 1/2, totally fine. And then over here, we get b is equal to 1. Now, I have boxed them, but I want to double check, are either one of those one of my excluded values? And neither one of them are, and so I can have them as the solutions. But if I ended up with a 3 or a 0 as the solution, I would cross that one out and only have one correct solution. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause it to try to catch up or process the material. So if we take a look at the next problem, what I want you to notice is we do have two different denominators, and we even have a third different denominator, but we don't want to end up with to a third or a fourth power. So we want to see what we can do with that. So notice this is p squared minus 1 squared. So I've got 2p over p plus 1 plus 3 over p minus 1 is equal to 15 minus p over, and then this is p plus 1 times p minus 1. And if you notice, I've got some repeats here. So again, we have to think of these as whole denominators. We can't split them into pieces. So when I start talking about my least common denominator, I need a p plus 1 factor for the first one. I need a p minus 1 factor for the second one. And I need both for the third one, but I already have both in that least common denominator. So this is what I'm going to multiply by when I start to try to get rid of my fractions. And then I just want to make a note that this cannot be equal to 0 because that would mean that at least one of my denominators is 0. So coming over here, that means that p cannot be equal to -1, setting this first one equal to 0. And p can also not be equal to +1, setting that second one equal to 0. So these again are called my excluded values. So coming over here, the p plus 1's cancel, and that leaves me with a 2p and a p minus 1. Here the p minus 1's cancel, and that leaves me with a +3 and a p plus 1. And then here the p plus 1's and the p minus 1's cancel, leaving me with just 15 minus p. Okay, so then my next step is to distribute. So we're going to have 2p squared minus 2p, distributing that first one. Distributing the 3, we get 3p plus 3, and then that's equal to 15 minus p. So I'm going to want to subtract 15 from both sides just to get everything to the same side. I'm going to want to add p to both sides, and I want to combine my like terms. So let's get this all cleaned up. So I've got 2p squared, then I have negative 2p, and positive p negative 1p, plus 3p makes positive 2p. Sorry about that. Lost my mind for a second. So 3 plus 1 makes 4, minus 2 makes 2. And then 3 minus 15 is negative 12. And before we get too concerned with that 2 in the front, notice I can divide that out because I have that equal sign right there. So now it's gone and it makes our life so much easier. So we've got p squared plus p minus 6 equal to 0. So when I go to factor this, I'm saying what multiplies to give me -6, that adds to give me 1. So hopefully you're seeing something like 3 and -2 because their product is -6 and their sum is +1. So we get p plus 3 times p minus 2 is equal to 0. And so if p plus 3 is equal to 0, that makes p equal to -3. And if p minus 2 is equal to 0, that makes p equal to +2. And then just double checking, that is not one of my excluded values. And so both of those answers are correct.